Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Scraptember. Today's prompt is monochrome, and Scraptember is brought to you by the Scrappy sisters and Laura Alberts, and it's going on all month long. I'm just playing along Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but there's a playlist down below so that you can enjoy all of the inspiration that people have put forth throughout the month. So go check out that playlist and you'll get tons of inspiration for all of the different prompts. And each day the prompt changes. Like I said, today is monochrome. So I am going with green, and I am going through my scrap bin to pull out some different green and greenish papers. That paper that is a column in the background there is actually kind of a velvety type of paper. It's not really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like paper. It's not like flocked paper. It's kind of got like a weird texture to it, but it is velvety. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm using some background paper from 49 and Market. I'm going to use a bunch of embellishments from 49 and Market as well. And I am also using a bunch of some assemblage required product on today's layout. And you can kind of see that stack that I've got over to the right hand side of a bunch of outdoorsy types of things. Now originally I thought I was going to be using this photo of these pots and pans hanging in the forest, which seems a little strange, I know. These are more Cub Scout photos from when my husband was running a bunch of the activities at Cub Scout camp. It was actually at their family camp, so it was an overnight camp for the weekend. And this was the slingshot area. And I don't end up using this photo. And I don't change it until the very end, you guys. So I will be using this photo later in the month, so you will hear more about those pots and pans later in the month. So anyway, I have pulled out this green rub-on from 49 and Market, and I'm going to go ahead and put that down on this paper, but I'm going to cut it into multiple pieces so that it's going to be used in a couple of different spots. And obviously I'm stretching it there. The green polka dot paper is just out of my stash. I don't actually even know what paper collection that's from, but I thought those darker greens worked really well with the green in the photo, and it is still going to actually work with the green that I end up using on the in the other photo that I'm going to use. I am actually even using these rub-ons on this kind of flocked paper or velvety type of paper, and it works well. You can see a little bit that it does push down the texture of the paper, but it does also it still works. Like, I don't know, I don't think it takes away from that paper at all, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. So I'm liking the way that that's looking. I am going to put a little bit more down in this bottom area just to bring more of that texture over. I like the way that that looks. And then this little last tiny piece, I thought I was going to use it at the edge of the photo, but I think I'm going to use it in the bottom corner. Okay, and then I am going to use this ticket to cover up the gap that is left by stretching that green polka dot paper across. It leaves a gap there because it's not quite long enough, and I definitely want the bottom edge of it to hang down below the other paper that's behind it. I guess I could have shortened that flocked paper, but I didn't end up doing that. So definitely want it to hang down. Now this little piece of paper that I'm gutting out from behind my photo, I'm going to use in the bottom right hand corner. I'm just adhering everything to this flocked kind of paper. I'm going to call it flocked. I don't know what it is really. I think it might be from SEI, and it's really old, but I'm not 100% sure. So I am using liquid glue, Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, to adhere that down because I don't feel like my tape runner is going to adhere to the texture of that background piece. This striped piece, I did gut that as well because I want to use a little bit of it somewhere else, and I needed to stretch it anyway, and I figured I might as well not cover up all of it, and that way it can be used down in this bottom corner. And I really like the addition of the stripes with polka dots. I think that's a great combination, and it works very well for this. And then the little piece that I tore off, of the polka dot paper, I'm even using that down in this bottom right corner. And the one thing I do really love about this is that, you know, you can use the tiniest bits of scraps just to bring those colors and textures down into another area. So if I'm working on a project, I tend not to throw those away right away until I know I'm not going to need them. And if I'm working on a larger project that, like say an album that has coordinating papers in it, I keep all the little bits and pieces like that because you never know, you might use them on a different page, and you might want to bring whatever color is going on earlier in your album, you want to repeat it, and these little bits and pieces are perfect for that. Okay, so now I'm going to trim that little piece off. I've created my little shelf there. I am now going to use a bunch of these leaves out of the 49 and mark it. They are either from the cluster kit or the ultimate page kit because I have both and I've now combined the two. Been working from these two to kind of use them up a little bit. And if you are someone who's not really 100% sure about buying a bunch of 49 and market products, or if you just want a smaller sampling of them, the embellishment kit or the page kit are perfect for that because you just get a little bit of everything. And it's still quite a lot. I will tell you, I've done several layouts with it and it still ended up being quite a bit. Okay, so now I'm using Catherine Pooler Eucalyptus ink right over the edge of my photo mat. And I have switched out the photos to be 2 photos of the little girl that I take care of. These are before she was a year old. She is now almost 4. And so I thought these would work well because the dark green shirt that she is wearing matches really well. And then the lighter green of the grass behind her is a nice combination with the other greens that are on this page also. I just felt like this page was coming together and it was just too pretty for those pots and pans. And I know that sounds weird, but it just had a softer feel to it, and so I thought I would go ahead and use it for these photos instead. And I'm going to do something a little bit different for the pots and pans photo. Again, like I said, later in the month, so you will see that come back out at some point. So I am going to use all of these sprigs. Now these are super delicate, and I really love them. I love all of these little viney looking pieces with the curly cues on them. I think they're super cute and they really lend themselves to this layout. And I'm just layering them up underneath some of these leaves so that they're peeking out, and I really think it's just gorgeous. In fact, I like these so much that I'm ordering another set from MK because they're just super cute and I just liked them. I just loved them, you guys. I am going to actually end up opening up another set of these kind of sprig type of wood veneer pieces. You can see it off to the right hand side, kind of underneath another package, and I'm going to bring in a couple of those as well to the bottom right of the photograph because I'm going to create another layer there. This is going to be a diagonal design. I really do love a diagonal. You guys probably know that because I do a lot of them, but I just think they're so pretty, and it's a great way to just draw your eye across the page. And so if you're new to my channel, you're going to see quite a few of them. Okay, so these leaves, yes, I know they are upside down. They are pointed up, not down, and I don't mind that. They fit better on the page because of where I cut them off of the other leaf cluster. They had a straight edge on them, so I went ahead and just used them as they are. And you know, in nature, leaves grow in all different kinds of directions, especially, you know, if they're not hanging from something up above, but they're climbing maybe or whatever. Leaves grow in all different directions. So I'm going to just go ahead and go with it. I'm not gonna not use them because they might look like they're upside down. I did pull out a little bit more from the same collection, and there is more of these leaves here. So I'm going to go ahead and use those down in this bottom corner. I think that's super cute. And I am going to use that doily. I don't use doilies a lot, but when I do, it tends to be on a really feminine layout or a foodie layout. In this case, I feel like that doily really mimics the front of her shirt that has kind of like that lace work on it. And so I thought it was perfect for this. It also brings a little bit of lightness to the layers behind the photograph, and I really like how that looks. So here I've got the leaves all cut. I cut this extra piece off because I didn't feel like it needed to be hiding behind the photograph, and I'm going to use that extra piece to layer right on top of the piece that I've already glued down, and I'm going to put a little bit of foam underneath it to just give it a little bit of added dimension. And then I'm going to be able to tuck those other wooden sprigs underneath this piece. Because of that foam, it's giving it the added dimension rather than the leaves being glued to the top of the wood veneer, because those wood veneer pieces are not quite as big as the other ones. The original ones, I didn't have to really use much foam underneath because they're supported fully by the wood veneer. Okay, I'm adding a little butterfly up here, also in green, keeping it all monochromatic. I think the key when you're doing a monochromatic layout is finding lots of papers and embellishments that are all in the same color family, and even so much as sometimes even going with ones that are more like the same color but a lighter shade. So hopefully that made sense, rather than maybe adding a really yellow green. Now there is a really yellow green in the photograph, but I feel like that just kind of draws your eye there. But instead of adding a really yellow green to my clusters, I'm keeping all of the clusters very similarly toned, but just lighter and darker shades of that same green. Just adding a little bit more liquid glue to that background piece of paper. And then I had these enamel dots handy from a layout I did last week. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some Nuvo drops in there, kind of like enamel dots. And now I don't do this very often because I'm not really a huge fan of Nuvo drops. But I feel like they're kind of going to get protected because I've got dimension on this page that is going to support the page protector. So if they rub up against another page, they're not going to flatten at all. And I know that's kind of a thing with Nuvo drops. They're not supposed to flatten, but I feel like they still do. So that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this layout. And if you have questions or comments, leave them down below. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and come back and see me again on Wednesday. Again, thanks for your time, and don't forget to check the playlist that is down below. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.